Hey Internet, I'm Chris, and this is the place on the internet where I talk about comics, movies, games, and things I'm generally passionate about. So this weekend, The Killer's Game starring Dave Bautista came out. And Batista, I would say, is probably the greatest wrestler turned actor of all time. Now, The Rock is definitely the biggest movie star, and John Cena is doing a great job being in Peacemaker. Ricky Stenicki was probably one of the funniest movies I've seen in quite a bit, but Batista has made a name for himself. One, performing in big action films, but also doing very great character work. Obviously, he was Drax in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Also, he was in Dune. Like he's been in fantastic movies. He was in Blade Runner 2049. So he's been in some really, I'd say, like some of the best sci-fi genre movies of the last 10, 15 years. And also, hey, one of the great wrestlers of his era. Was a part of Evolution, was a world heavyweight champion, successful in both realms in worldwide wrestling and then also in film. And the reason I wanted to talk about him is that recently a lot of people have been talking about his recent weight loss. And I think it's a little weird, talking about it. The reason I think it's weird and it's something that people should probably stray away from when it comes to, people's weight loss is that when Chadwick Boseman passed years ago from colon cancer at a very young age, I believe he was 36 years old at the time of his passing. And, like up until his passing, he was losing a lot of weight, and there was a lot of talk. Was it for a role? Was he ill? There was so much talk, and I think we shouldn't do that anymore. Batista was really graceful and was asked about it by Chris Van Vliet, who does a great podcast, and he talked about the fact that he did Knock at the Cabin and gained a lot of weight for that role and wanted to slim down a little bit.
Because people think, like for me, people say, God, you're skinny. I've even saw like online, some people are worried about my health. And when I say it out loud to people, I'm 6'4", 240 pounds.
Yeah.
Which sounds like, it sounds like when you say that out loud, it sounds like I'm a big person.
Sounds like you'd play in the NFL.
But to me, because people have seen me so much bigger over the years, and, they think I'm like anorexic, but I'm just a large human being. So,
now that he's older and also not wrestling and not probably have to keep up that appearance and be sort of the animal and Batista bomb people through tables. And he handled it really gracefully. But again, I think it's weird when we do this because I feel that when it happened to Chadwick Boseman, we collectively as a society would sort of stop doing this when people, especially, men of a certain age start losing weight because it could be a personal choice as it is with Batista. One, he's getting older, he wants to lose some weight, he wants to feel lighter on his feet. Or if it is a health issue, like let them deal with that in private. Yes, there are public figures, but health issues are sometimes very weird to talk about. Actors that put themselves out there, and obviously looks are very important in Hollywood, but again, I feel that it just isn't right when we talk about these things and make people feel bad about themselves. And again, Batista's obviously for years been a model of being a beast. When he was a wrestler, he was called the Animal. But again, he's like 6'4" and still like an animal. If you look at him, he's even said it himself. And again, I just get really sad because I think about how Chadwick was treated, especially sort of in his last days. He obviously kept that battle internally and fought for a really long time to still be able to work through the pain, work through his sickness so that he could leave a body of work for the world to see, and dealt with that very privately. And we were all shocked when he passed. People even close to him did not know he was struggling with that disease. And I feel it just was not right the way we as a society treated him in his last days, especially with how graceful he had been in the public eye and how he carried himself in his roles, in his work, and also in his personal life. So I think we should extend and learn from that. And when someone, especially a public figure, begins to lose weight, hey, just let them be them. It's a personal, sometimes a personal choice. I myself have gained weight, and it's not an easy thing to talk about. If someone's going through a change in their body, we should probably not comment on it and make it an internet thing, and make someone feel like they have to respond, especially when it just was a personal choice. Especially someone like Batista who looks great, but even in the case of someone else. Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't much to this video. I just saw a lot of the commentary online and felt that we should do better, especially with what we've seen and how we know these things can turn out. Like, yes, the internet is a joke. We could all have fun, and it's all jokes, but when we've seen the way our jokes can impact people, and also we never know what people are going through in their own personal life. So yeah, well, what do you think? you know should you feel, hey, they're a public figure, it's fair game, or we should give people grace when they are going through something, and even if it isn't something really like devastating, it's like, hey, like, let him lose weight, let him gain weight, let him rock, bro. He's doing great work. He's probably gonna be in the DCU soon. Like, leave Batista alone. He's having a moment. He's a leading man. He's got his own movie. Let him be happy. I don't know. Peace.